Spark Books here. Today, I'm going to explain the book, The Truth About Trust, by David DeSteno. Take care, enjoy the book, and have a nice day. The Truth About Trust not only explores what trust exactly means, but also how it impacts almost every single aspect of our everyday lives. The author's own extensive research and progressive experiments from the fields of psychology, economics, and biology reveal the surprising ways in which trust deeply matters. Key idea number 1. Trust allows people to work together for bigger rewards, yet short-term gains of treachery are always attractive. Every day we make decisions based on trust. If a buddy wants to borrow $100, do you give it to her? Yes, you like her, but you haven't known her long. Will you ever get your money back? This risk is the fundamental basis of trust. When you trust someone, you take a wager that they won't only satisfy their short-term selfish needs, but also think of the long-term connection you develop together. Humans learned the value of collaboration after living in tribes. It became evident that helping others and receiving support in return made both parties better off. So why do we trust? Because, despite being hazardous, trusting people can offer huge rewards. Trust is important to receive resources and benefits we can't obtain on our own. We achieve more by working together than by working alone, which results in financial, physical, and social rewards. For instance, we send our kids to school, trusting that someone else will provide them a proper education so we can focus on making money. But we are also hardwired to be drawn to selfish short-term individual gains. In fact, our minds constantly weigh short-term selfish rewards, like cheating on a fiancé for an exciting affair, against longer-term community gains, like rejecting temptation and choosing a less exciting but loving long-term partnership. We evolved to be reproductively successful winners, not saints who always do the right thing. Our predecessors lived short lives in a dangerous world, so they didn't ponder about the future. We sometimes neglect long-term connections for selfish short-term conduct, especially when we know we won't be discovered. Humans learned the value of collaboration after living in tribes. It became evident that helping others and receiving support in return made both parties better off. Key idea number 2. Our minds and bodies have built-in trust mechanisms. Consider your last trust decision. Did it affect your heart or stomach? We trust our bodies and thoughts equally, so you probably did. Trust is physiological. The vagus nerve connects the brain to the chest in humans and other social animals like chimpanzees. The vagus nerve calms our pulse rate and sweat when stimulated, and only then can we trust others. Oxytocin hormones also affect trust. In tests where participants made financial decisions in teams, spraying oxytocin into their noses enhanced trust and cooperation among team members and distrust of other teams. This physiological substrate underlies our basic instinct to recognize and reject unfair and untrustworthy behavior. Experiments have demonstrated that people will promptly reject unfair money offers, even if they get nothing. People instinctively recognize they're being treated unfairly and will sacrifice their profit to prove the other person is untrustworthy. Our primates share this instinct. Monkeys dislike unfairness too. In one experiment, monkeys earned food rewards for completing tasks and became irritated if they witnessed another monkey receiving a better reward. The mistreated monkey would reject the lower reward or toss it back at the experimenter. Do you feel tense or relaxed when you suspect someone? Key idea number 3. Children evaluate adults' trustworthiness from birth. Children are less trusting than we imagine. Due to their vulnerability, youngsters have a strong evolutionary motive to learn who they can trust early. Children begin assessing trustworthiness earlier than expected. 6 to 10-month-old babies can identify trustworthy people, according to research. One trial showed newborns a puppet show with a nice and mean puppet. Most infants reached for the good puppet after viewing the show. This proves that even babies can detect trustworthiness. Another study demonstrates that children trust competent adults. 3 to 5-year-olds saw 2 adults name familiar things aloud in the experiment. One adult named everything correctly, while the other purposefully misnamed things such hammers as forks. When learning about other unknown objects, the youngsters asked the capable adult 3 times more often. Even 3 weeks later, when the toddlers were shown more strange objects, they still preferred questioning the competent adult. But children trust competent adults more. Since learning depends on trusting what you're told, children's minds start identifying their teachers, i.e., adults, as trustworthy nearly from birth. Key idea number 4. Long-term romance requires trust. Adult relationships, from friendship to employment, require mutual dependence. However, love elevates trust. Evolutionarily, a co-trustworthiness parents is most significant. Parenting partnerships have kept children alive since humans evolved. 2 parents to feed and protect the youngster increased its chances of survival. Because of evolution, we subconsciously need to trust our romantic partners to stay and assist raise the child. Modern love relationships still depend on trust. A study on romantic trust confirmed this. After independently completing trust questionnaires, couples discussed a goal that would demand considerable sacrifices from one another. The recordings showed that people who trusted their spouses were more willing to work together and compromise. The more confidence one couple had in the other, the more their partner's responses were seen as honorable sacrifices. Trust also improves your health by sustaining long-term connections. Long-term relationships have economic, social, physiological, and psychological benefits, according to numerous studies. Key idea number 5, status, power, and money make us less trustworthy and less trusting. To get what we need, we must trust others. What about someone who is self-sufficient and doesn't require others? We mean wealthy, powerful, and influential people. They're selfish because they have most of their wants met and are less dependent on others, according to research. A crossing trial at a busy intersection showed this. The results were clear: the more expensive the car, the more likely the driver would cut the pedestrian off and keep driving. In other words, the higher their socioeconomic standing, the more likely they were to put their own interests first and breach the law. This illustrates that wealthier people are more likely to break your trust if it benefits them. In this example, they risked a life to save a few seconds. Higher socioeconomic position is linked to less trustworthy behavior and less trust in others. When playing the trust game, scientists saw this. Each player receives money to contribute to a trustee who triples the pot without returning any of it. Participants can either trust the trustee to operate honestly and split the gains, which helps everyone, or take the lesser amount home without trusting a stranger. As predicted, subjects with higher socioeconomic level were less trusting. Key idea number 6, self-trust isn't always reliable. Don't assume you'll always make the proper choice. Trusting yourself is like betting on the future you, and research revealed that the future you rarely acts predictably. The author proved how little individuals trust themselves by asking 100 people if they would cheat in the following scenario. In a room alone, you flip a coin to select whether you or a person in the neighboring room will be given a difficult and long task or a fun and short one. Everybody said they wouldn't lie about the toss's outcome. A hidden camera showed 90% of them cheated in this situation. We excuse our untrustworthy behavior and overestimate our future selves. We strive to justify our shortcomings because we want to be good. After the coin flip experiment, the cheaters denied being untrustworthy. Well, I'm sure the next person isn't as overloaded as I am right now, so they should handle the longer task, they said. Thus, trusting yourself is as risky as trusting others. We're all skilled at misusing trust. Key idea number 7, trust signals are complex and context dependent. Shifty eyes indicate dishonesty, right? Contrary to popular belief, gestures and expressions do not indicate trustworthiness. Context, configural and situational, is essential for trustworthiness interpretation. First, looking for a configuration or set of clues rather than a single, ambiguous cue improves accuracy in recognizing others' intentions, especially trustworthiness. Basic facial expressions alone rarely reveal another's intentions, according to research. When presented merely the faces of athletes in extreme winning or losing emotional states, individuals are bad at determining which state the athlete is in. An open-mouthed, furrowed brow expression seems angry, but with one or both fists pumping, it says yes, I nailed it. This illustrates that multiple indications, not one golden cue, are needed to accurately discern emotional states and intents, including trustworthiness. Second, situational context is important for assessing trustworthiness. The same cue might indicate different intentions depending on the situation, such who is showing it. Studies indicate that our brains can interpret a smile as either support or hostility depending on how we socially identify that person. Your dearest friend's smile will make you feel safe and pleased, but your sworn enemies will surely raise doubts. Key idea number 8, technology and online social contact have made trust manipulation easier and worse. Technology has transformed human interaction. Today, we use technology to be social as in real life, but with a twist. Avatars, real-time graphical representations of individuals, were used by over 500 million people in 2011. The Nintendo Wii uses these. Interestingly, this avatar world seems to follow the same rules as real life. Second Life, a virtual environment where avatars interact, showed this. Scientists revealed that this virtual environment follows real-life social interaction guidelines. As in real life, male avatars spoke farther apart than female or mixed-gendered pairings. Internet social engagement is different since there is no body language to determine intentions, making it more manipulable. Visual indicators like fidgeting or touching the face can indicate untrustworthiness. We can't get that information on the internet, so we don't know others' intentions. Technology may hide information and deceive people, but it can also replicate trustworthy behavior in new technologies designed to aid us. Louise, a virtual nurse, helps clients follow their after-hospital care plan. Louise was programmed to give medical advice like a trustworthy person. Patients felt more comfortable and followed medical advice better with this appearance of trustworthiness than with real nurses. All relationships require trust. We trust someone to prioritize our long-term connection over their present desires. Trust is worth it because it allows people to work together for bigger rewards. To view more content like this, subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn on notifications. The channel really benefits from it. I appreciate you being here.